Are you ready to talk about Shera and the Princesses of Power? Because I am so pumped to talk about Catra today. But first, I want to know who your favorite character in the series is. You have McGann, the Fangirl. Make sure you subscribe and check back every week for new fandom videos. Just a time out for a second here, this is going to be a video where I'm going to be present for most of the video, and I'm going to explain why at the end if you're super curious. If not, just forget about it and enjoy the ride as I analyze the psychology of Catra. If you're a fan of Dreamworks Shera on Netflix, and if you've been on this channel for more than a hot minute, you know I'm a huge fan of the series. But if you've seen the series for yourself, you've probably enjoyed Catra, even if her motives are kind of confusing. So today, I'm breaking down Catra's behavior to try and analyze what she's doing and where she might be going from season 3 and beyond. Now, personally, I get Catra on a spiritual level, and she really falls into this saying I've been using for like 20 years now, that the difference between a hero and a villain is that the hero works really hard and gets whatever they want, and the villain works even harder and never does. Yeah, I've basically embraced that I'm like some really cool tech away from becoming a major supervillain, and I'm okay with that. I was always the quote lesser person in my group of friends, and I was that person who was never recognized as adults as being pretty enough or smart enough or friendly enough. I was always just this average forgettable face that teachers would forget me 5 minutes after the year had ended at school. And actually, no, I think I was just about equal to everybody else, but humans love to compare people and play favorites. So when you grow up next to people getting praised and you're being overlooked or chastised for everything you do, your inner monologue becomes, well, if Katie's being praised for being the cute one, then what they're really saying is that I'm ugly. Or if everyone's saying that Lacey is so smart, then I must be dumb. If you can't relate to what I'm saying right now, congratulations! You've had a fantastic life with no self-loathing, and that's awesome. I mean, truly, sincerely good for you. But if you look around, I bet you'll find people standing next to you that feel like I always have. And I'm not throwing myself a pity party here because, hey, I just had to decide one day that I was going to embrace my own awesome if no one else was going to. So here we are. Welcome to the Fangirl. But growing up myself in this environment where I was always invisible or never considered good enough to get recognized, I was very quickly drawn to Catra, and I get her behaviors completely. To help everyone understand Catra more thoroughly, let's look at the world from the other side of the mirror, because we watch Shera from the perspective of Shera and her friends, but really the situation was that Catra was raised in a place where she was never going to be good enough, and Adora was marked as special when she was just a baby. Catra didn't have an internal voice to tear her down because she had Shadow Weaver to do it for her and make her feel bad about herself every waking moment. Nothing Catra ever did was going to change Shadow Weaver's opinion of her. Catra was always going to be the problem child, the scapegoat, the one to get punished, the one who was always criticized and never praised. And we see this happen when the girls were small. Even when they did something together, Adora had to be the angel child and Catra had to be to blame. And I think that made Catra resent Adora for most of her life, even though they were really close friends too. It would be unfair to call this a rivalry between the girls because a rivalry suggests that Catra could win once in a while, which was never going to happen by design. Whether she knew it or not, Adora was the queen bee of the Fright Zone. And when she left and made new friends without even trying to invite Catra along, well, that hurt. If you're in middle school and you come into the cafeteria one day and suddenly your best friend is sitting with other people just laughing it up and having a great time, what do? How do you respond to that? Do you pick up your tray and go over to a group that might not welcome you, or do you keep doing the same thing you've always done, sitting at the same table in the same way, hoping your friend returns? Because that's basically Catra and Adora in a nutshell. Adora becoming Shera and leaving Catra just confirmed to Catra that all her worst fears were true. No one cared about her and she didn't matter at all. But when you've lived with that kind of anxiety for your entire life, you don't exactly fall apart and cry when things go wrong. It's more likely you'll lash out and get mad at yourself for giving someone else the chance to break your heart. And I don't mean that romantically. As they said in Boston Legal, who said that jealousy and fidelity were reserved only for romance? I loved you as my best friend, and you broke my heart. That sums up Catra perfectly. She's literally been left behind, and when Adora does come back around, she's like, hey, I've got this new life now. You want to come with me and hope you fit in? And of course, Catra's going to reject that because it's a whole new world. She doesn't understand it. She's not comfortable there. When you've worked your entire life believing one thing and your friend suddenly changes their mind, it's really hard to get on board with that at the drop of a hat. And then any other time that Adora brings up her friendship with Catra, it's in a very manipulative way. Adora will be like, but Catra, we used to be friends. And Catra's standing back there like, ha ha ha, fool me once. I mean, have you ever had a friend just kind of dump you and then go be idolized by a new group of friends while you're over there feeling like thrown out garbage? Getting your face rubbed in the new friendships is like the worst feeling in the world. And if you've never felt that way before, you can't relate to what I'm saying here, then again, that's fantastic for you, but I hope you'll be mindful of the feelings of the people around you. Now, since Catra didn't want to abandon her life with the Horde and everything she knew to go run off with Adora at her first request, couldn't Catra just move on and be BFFs with Scorpia? Sure, but you have to realize how raw and vulnerable Catra feels. So she's putting up walls with Scorpia and everybody else, and those walls might never come down again. Trying to manage all of these intense feelings that Catra has, but isn't really able to acknowledge, it just starts coming off as more and more cruel because she's trying to inflict the same kind of pain back on Adora and Shadow Weaver. And that's where this cycle gets vicious. I think that deep down, Catra really wants to be best buddies with Adora again, but Adora needs to fight for it. She has to prove that Catra is worth whatever the cost is to be her friend. And we all saw that Catra is not hard to win over. Shadow Weaver was able to manipulate her with just a few kind words, but Catra needs a concession from Adora, something that has Adora admitting that she was a bad friend to Catra and that she really, really wants to be her friend again. The problem, though, is that Shera is definitely not rejoining the Horde, and the more time that passes, the more Catra lashes out and makes reconciliation beyond difficult. I don't even think Catra is trying to fight with Shera as much as she's trying to prove to Adora that they are equals and that Catra has value too. Every action Catra takes is almost like a direct saying of, why won't you acknowledge you need me? Because Shera loves to stand next to Catra and really use that line of, we used to be friends. But Shera really doesn't make an effort to reach out and try to convert Catra to their side. And a real genuine invitation could mean everything at this point. Even though Catra's personality doesn't really mesh with the rest of the rebellion, I think she would defect from the Horde without a lot of effort. She is a completely redeemable character, and where Catra goes, Scorpia follows, and then Entrapta eventually would go too. Then the Horde would be mostly run by teenagers without any experience or leadership, meaning the entire operation would soon crumble. I very much predict that the series will take that turn in the next few seasons, and the idea that people matter, that they're worth fighting for, is such an important message that I will find it unforgivable if the series ends without Adora realizing how she's really wronged Catra. The rebellion can never defeat the Horde until Adora makes amends with Catra. And hey, don't get me wrong, I really like Adora, but she has been a selfish character. She was so quick to cast aside her only friend for years when some literally new shiny friends marched into her life. Having a big destiny doesn't mean you have to be a thoughtless jerk. Catra cared about Adora the person, not Adora the Force Captain. Those girls grew up together and went through everything together. They made each other stronger, better fighters. Then Adora made the decision to leave her one and only friend. Catra hated the Fright Zone. She would have left it in a heartbeat if given a real opportunity, but Adora decided she wasn't worth taking along until it was an afterthought, and Adora had already defected from the Horde. Who wouldn't feel bitter and angry after that? Well, hopefully that helps you all understand the motives of Catra in the series, and maybe that makes her more empathetic, or at least more interesting in your eyes. I hope so, because I think Catra is one of the best developed characters in the series. We just have to see her get enough motivation to turn it around for the other side. It might not be reality, but theories are more fun. Alright, I'm about to dish on why I'm doing the facial vlogging. Stay tuned, it'll blow your mind. Not really. No, seriously, if you're not interested in my personal hullabaloo, it's totally fine if you leave now. It does not hurt my feelings. I just want to put this out here for people who are interested in knowing what I'm doing and why. So, I don't know if anybody knows this yet. It hasn't been publicly announced at the time of me recording this video, but I won one of the VidCon grants to help me upgrade the channel and sort of roll with YouTube's very strong punches lately. And one of the things I put in that I really wanted to do was start facial vlogging more and putting myself out here more for a lot of variety of reasons. And of course to kind of upgrade my stuff to 4K so that I don't really have to worry about upgrading for a long while after that. So I'm recording this from my new Logitech Brio that I purchased with my grant money, and it does go to 4K. Unfortunately, I found out my editing software doesn't handle 4K very well, so this is going to be a little bit of a trial and error. Eventually though, I do plan to have 4K videos out. But why I've decided that I kind of have to do the face vlogging, well, back in December I noticed my statistics got really bad, like really dropped to the bottom of the barrel bad. I wasn't getting recommended anymore, people weren't really subscribing anymore. It was the first time in years that I was seeing a net loss in subscribers like every single time I posted. And I'm like, okay, I get sometimes I might bring up a topic that you guys don't like or that a lot of people don't click with, but come on, give me a break, give me a chance here. If you don't like that video, you might like the next one or the one after that. Like, you don't have to leave just because you don't like one video I post. But I basically saw through some Twitter posts from YouTube that they've decided to declare war on theory channels. And from the best that I can sleuth through and figure out, what YouTube has decided to do is not recommend any videos that are theory videos, and I don't know if that extends to the entire channel or just the video itself, but they don't want to recommend those videos because the old people who come on YouTube to watch the news get irritated when they see conspiracy videos pop up next. And YouTube has me so frustrated with how they're trying to stranglehold and baby-proof the internet right now. It's just not realistic. It's not going to happen. It's more realistic to say, hey, you can click away if you don't like something, or hey, you should supervise your children while they're surfing around online because we're not about super mega censorship. I understand some things need censored, but when you're going, we're gonna attack movie theorists because that's what we think old people want, and YouTube will release the most offensive statements like, well, that only affects 1% of our uploaders or something like that, and it's like, what? I mean, but what about to those 1%? You have millions of different channels on YouTube, so 1% is no small number to sneeze at. And to just throw us in the dirt and say, well, you're just as bad as people making 9/11 conspiracy videos. Like, I do this for fun. I do this as almost an educational release for the degree that I have in film studies. I've recently learned that the proper term for my channel is that I am a video essay channel, and I'm fine with that. I think that fits perfectly in with what I do. So it really hurts me and it hurts my feelings that essentially my quote boss, and where most of my revenue for my job of making videos on YouTube full time, every video takes 10 plus hours, sometimes 20, 30 hours to get done, that they're going to turn around and tell me that after I've been successfully contributing and adding to the conversations and getting people talking and engaging in the community and really trying to build a community, not just a video dumping channel, that doesn't matter to YouTube because it annoys old people that I exist. Well, so the channel has taken a huge financial hit because YouTube doesn't care that conspiracy theories and movie theories are totally different spectrums of things. They just lump it all in together with the buzzword theory. And there are videos that I have literally spent 10 to 20 hours making, and then I make $1 off of that video. That's a bad ROI. That's a huge waste of my time. And it's not that I don't love making these videos and I don't love sharing them, or that it's all about the money, but I've got 3 kids. It's gotta kinda be about the money here and there. I mean, the only reason I make as many videos as I do and post as consistently as I do is because there is revenue in it. I don't get sponsorships. Nobody wants to sponsor this channel. Nobody sends me like makeup PR or anything like some of the other video essayists get. And that's fine. I'm not trying to beg, but I'm just saying, if you go back and you look at how I was posting before, there was like months in between videos. I would do it in my spare time as I felt like it, in between my photography work. Well, then the channel took off and I basically retired from photography to do this full time. So it kind of has to work. It's my job. I have to earn money here. So if I'm going to put 10 to 20 hours into a video and I'm going to spend most of that in editing with tracking down all these images or taking these screenshots and then trying to put them on the screen and making sure they move if they're more than 3 seconds long, it just eats up so much more time. So vlogging with my face really makes a difference in the editing process because yeah, you might see me throw up some screenshots over my shoulder, but it's not like I have to have 8 million screenshots and then I have to spend all this time making them move. I'm basically editing my video down and then throwing in some flavor images here and there. It's much less demanding for me, and I'm so sorry if you prefer the slideshow style to the live action style, but it's just kind of where I'm at and what I have to do until YouTube decides to change again, which they are every minute. I live in constant terror that I'm going to be demonetized over some new policy change because I made a comment about a movie character that someone found offensive. Then I also have a toddler who is special needs, and he's getting more and more and more and more demanding every day. And I've got carpal tunnel now from sitting at this computer editing videos so frequently. Like it gets really bad. Like some days my hands feel like so locked up. Even if we throw out the issues with the statistics, I just physically cannot keep up with the demand of editing 2 videos a week where I'm spending so much time in the editing process. And YouTube has a mess of a copyright system right now. They talked about fixing it a few months ago. They really haven't done much that I've seen. I waste so much time on the internet fighting fair use claims, which my videos do fall under. They're entertainment, they're satire, they're educational, they're critiques. Every one of my video essays has multiple levels on how you could use it or how you could view it. So it's 100% legal for me to say, let's analyze this dance in Moana, and for me to show a little clip of Moana dancing. That's not giving the movie away. That's not causing Disney to make less money. If anything, it's helping them make more money because I'm saying, hey, look, this is a really interesting thing in the movie. And in turn, that makes people go, maybe I'll go watch that movie again. And to be fair, Disney is usually really, really good with not copyright claiming things. So actually, they're like the kings of being good about fair use. But there's other places like Universal, Warner Brothers. I've had Studio Ghibli give me a copyright strike, which I had to fight, which involves saying that, hey, I give you permission to sue me if you don't agree with me challenging your copyright strike. It's just ridiculous. And the amount of times I've had to fight these strikes because I use screenshots, still images from the movie that don't give away any of the physical movie itself. It's just so ridiculous. And then there's been times where I've had just a little 7-second snippet to show a piece of a scene so I could analyze it and you would understand what I'm talking about. And they get to come in and claim the entire video over that. Now, okay, if I'm doing a 15-minute video with 7 seconds that you copyright, even if I don't think that's fair use and I say, okay, that's fair, you can copyright claim that part, why should you get my full 15 minutes of revenue for your 7 seconds of content? Doesn't mesh up, doesn't make sense. But most of these mega corporations don't distinguish between somebody stealing their content and really reposting it online wrongfully and people trying to critically analyze it. Like there's no distinction to them in their heads. It's the same thing. It's all theft to them. Not to mention, sometimes I just want to talk about a movie or a show and there's just not a lot of visuals to go with it. I struggled like crazy when I did my FNAF videos back in October because it was like, oh my gosh, I've got no visuals for this. It's mostly from the book. I don't have any pictures of Henry, Emily, or all these other people that they dimension, and I can either keep showing the same image over and over and over again, or I can try to make it work with memes. And then there's situations where a movie is really old or it's really new and I just can't get many screenshots at all, so it just makes the video look horrible. I think people get bored with it faster, and that's another reason why the slideshow style has to start taking a back seat. I love my work. I love talking and interacting with you guys as much as I can. You guys know I'm on here a lot more in the comments than most other vloggers at my level, but it seems like no matter what I do, no matter what I try, it just kind of blows up in my face. It's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna try to keep up with the content I'm producing without, hurting my hand or spending so much time that I'm never gonna make back or this or that. And so I tried doing the voiceover for movies that you could play with the movie. Well, people hated that. That became very low ranking videos people clicked away from quickly. Didn't help my situation when all the analytics went upside down. So I made those all unlisted and put them in a playlist so they're not being recommended for sure. Tried doing live after seeing the movie reviews. People hated that. Unsubscribed like crazy every time I post one. I don't know that I'm done with those. I think I might just try to change the format in what I talk about and how we go about it, but that's a whole different story for a different day. I've been trying doing lists, and most of the lists don't get very popular, very much attention. It's so weird on YouTube because, I know there's an audience for Marvel. I know there's a huge audience for Star Wars videos, but anytime I make those types of videos, they flop, and they flop hard. Same thing with the list. There's tons of list videos out there. People will spend all day watching one after another after another. I've had people ask me to do those, and I made them, and they're just like, nope, nobody wants to watch them. Like, okay. So really, I have to give VidCon a huge thank you because they've chosen me, they've selected me to get one of their grants. It's helping me improve. It's helping me be able to manage YouTube in a way that makes sense for me. And this isn't my preferred type of video. I like doing the slideshow style where I don't have to have makeup on and I don't have to be really aware of my face and what I'm doing with it. And I don't have to memorize a line on my script and then look up here and then back and forth and back and forth. Not to mention, I talk a lot with my hands if you haven't noticed. So I'm trying to break myself to do news anchor arms, but I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon. I just started this channel without showing my face because when you show your face as a woman on the internet with any kind of opinion, what you say doesn't matter because it's all about your hair, your makeup, your clothes, your skin, or this wonderful mole that I've had here for most of my life. I swear it keeps getting bigger, I think. Every few years it feels like it's gotten bigger, but it's a mole. It's been here forever. If you ever see it move to this side, that's just because you're watching a mirrored image of a recording. Or people start picking on my two messed up teeth, or my age, or my roots, or my this, or my that. It's like nothing I say matters if I don't look perfect when I say it, and I'm the kind of person that I'm never gonna look perfect. So one thing an insecure introvert doesn't want is to be objectified, but I know that's how it is. It's a large reason why I stopped vlogging years and years ago on my first channel that shall remain nameless. So just be aware that even though I'm doing this change and I'm gonna have a lot more of these live action videos, I didn't come to that decision lightly. Before I even considered doing this, I made myself lose 50 pounds. I have been slowly trying to teach myself makeup so that I don't come on here looking like a bacon sandwich. And I'm just terrified to my core that people are gonna come on here and they're gonna go, ew, unsubscribe. People have already told me that I look like a blonde potato. And that's one of the nice things that I am comfortable repeating. There's a lot of comments I end up deleting that are not as nice. But I also don't want to be the kind of person who goes around preaching girl power and individuality and be your own kind of perfect and then be absolutely terrified to show my face. I've been trying to edge myself into this by being in intros and outros for videos, but I still I am so tense. I don't know if you can see how high my shoulders are getting in this conversation, but I feel so tense. And if you're one of those people that are looking at me and going, ew, just know that one, there is no mean comment that I haven't heard before for many, many years over my life. Two, there's probably nothing you're gonna say that's gonna make me like myself any less than I already do. And three, who knows? Even if you don't don't like my face, I might grow on you if you stick around. I mean, hey, give me a chance. And I do plan to still do slideshow style videos from time to time. I just plan for them to be a lot less frequent than they have been. For me to be able to go back to doing 2 to 3 videos a week, I gotta do something different. My wrist can't handle living at the mouse all day. So that's it. I have not timed myself, but I've probably gone on longer than I did for the actual video for the psychology of Catra, but it felt like this was a good place to kind of let it out. I don't know, I think my Shera followers are a little bit more understanding of what it's like to be a girl and all the difficult things that come with it, because, you know, any of the guy vloggers basically sit down, hit record, do what they want to do, and, you know, that's them, that's their face. People love them if they weigh 800 pounds, but when you're a female and you try to sit down without makeup, people think you look sick, or people think that you must be a certain orientation, or this or that. You know, it just, people get so many negative perceptions just chambered up and ready as soon as they see a woman on camera, because we just start picking them apart as soon as we see them. So I'm here, mole and all, would say warts and all, but I don't want people to think I have a wart on my face. And I think that's all I have to say. Hopefully you guys are accepting of me and I don't see a giant fall in subscribers. I really hope not. It really stresses me out when I start seeing people leave and I don't know how to fix it. But you have been listening to McGann, the fangirl, ramble on like a crazy person, opening up a little bit, and we'll see you next time. Well, that's all I have for now, but this video's not quite over yet. I get a lot of comments that say, do a theory on this topic, but I've already done those theories. So please consider going to my main channel page and clicking on the video tab so that way you can see everything I've done. You will probably find a lot of things you like that you never even knew that I posted. I want to let you know that I also have 2 other channels, Say Halo Goodbye Gaming and the Fanily Family Vlogs. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed enough to hit subscribe and share. I can use all the help I can get to let other people know that this channel exists. And if you made it this far, leave me a comment that says something like, hey, I made it to the end, and then let me know what kind of videos you want to see in the future. I can't make any promises, but the more people that request something, the more I can look into it. Okay, well, I love you. I'll see you in the next video.